What's going on, everyone? In this video, we're going to be doing the weekly recap of the stocked up trading floor. And we are saying basically the same thing we have been saying for quite a while now, but the stock market made new all-time highs yet again this week. Lots of bullishness across the board, and this week is going to be crazy given all of the major earnings lined up, which we cover in the main channel video. So definitely make sure to check that out. But jumping into the recap, starting off with the high-risk breakouts. On the 21st, lots of good action. IREN, NVTS, S, BYND, PANW all had phenomenal moves of at least over 100%, with the best one being IREN with a 312% move. Of course, there were a handful of plays that moved up in a pretty decent way, which is always nice to see. And then, of course, there were a couple duds thrown in there as well, which is inevitable. But overall, really good day on the 21st. Continuing on throughout the rest of the week. Some days were much more explosive than others, as always, I guess you can say. Looking at the 22nd, lots of good action. You know, a handful of stocks moved up in momentum-driven ways. Lots of plays moved up in a respectable amount. But on the 22nd, there were also a fair amount of plays that were just duds. So that is, you know, one drawback. Again, some days are better than others, but I would say on the 22nd, yes, there was good action, but there was, you know, more duds than the previous day. Continuing on to the 23rd. Again, as we can see, a handful of plays did very well with GM, Mara, LUNR, TXN, QBTS, and Oklo all having moves of over 100%. With GM, it was 250%. Lots of good action across the board. And there was only a couple plays that were kind of duds. So very good day in the 23rd. Continuing on throughout the rest of the week. Looking at the 24th, good action, 472% moves with the leading ticker DOW, as well as 284%, 205%, and 156% moves with the runner-ups, you could say. Lots of good action across the board, but of course, some duds in there as well. And then on Friday, very, very slow day, not really any great action. Looking at the pullbacks channel, we could see, as always, pullbacks tend to be less explosive because the best setups don't pull back. They just keep on going. The trade-off to that is that while they tend to be less explosive, they tend to be slower, smoother, easier trades. So basically looking at some of these plays, we can see we saw some good action on the 23rd. Mara had a nice opportunity, as well as TXN and LUNR, but then Oklo and GEV were duds. Looking on the 24th, same thing you could say, you know, 3 solid plays, 1 dud. And then looking on Friday, 25th, good action, nothing like insane, but definitely respectable. And then looking at the theta recap, all of the trades expired for max profit, so no complaints there. Basically, if you don't know how shorting put options work, definitely look into it, even if you don't actually open up trades like this. Learning about shorting options has a lot of benefits to even help you when you long options for multiple reasons. In the simplest sense, with just like specifically shorting options, there's a lot of advantages in the sense where the options you are selling are theoretically a little bit more expensive than they should be, which works to your benefit over the long term. This is called the volatility risk premium. Additionally, just the nature of the position is essentially a trade where you're getting paid to buy shares of a company that you are happy to own, and you are buying those shares at a price you are happy to own that stock at. As you'd imagine, doing this over the long term is a beneficial position to be in because you accumulate assets that you like at prices you like, and over time there's a good chance that they will appreciate, you know, assuming that, you know, you're not shorting put options like penny stocks or just, you know, some other low quality companies. If you need help with shorting put options, feel free to reach out to Tom, Hunter, Mason, or myself in SM chat, and we'll make sure you're taken care of. But besides that, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your weekend.